On this episode of Beyond the Bounce, presented by ZTE, we sit down with newly minted Texas Legends head coach Nick Van Exel. He explains why he got into coaching. We play a round of small ball, all that and more on BTB. Welcome to Beyond the Bounce. I'm Travis Blakely. Joining me now, Nick the Quick Van Exel, and going by a different name these days, Coach Quick. Coach Van Exel, welcome to the studio, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, I want to dive right into it. Certainly excited to introduce you to the Legends fan base, the NBA D-League fan base, and the coaching fraternity as a whole, although that's not unfamiliar to you. What may be a bit unfamiliar to our audience, though, is your passion for coaching. When did that start? Did you always know as a player you were going to become a coach?
I didn't think I would become a coach, but I had aspirations probably around 2003 when I got traded from Dallas to Golden State. You know, I realized that most coaches in the NBA were former players. And for me, you know, I was always a vocal guy with my teammates. You know, I could always go to the coach and talk to him. Teammates always gravitated to me. So I just figured I had a pretty good feel for it. You know, I know the game pretty good. I wouldn't say I'm great, but I know it pretty good. And I started really thinking about it around 2003.
And Coach, everyone's kind of familiar with your story as a player, right? I mean, NBA All-Star, you know, multiple successful teams, but what are some of the characteristics that you embodied as a player that will help you as a successful D-League coach and one day an NBA coach?
I think just being able to relate. You know, I grew up playing the game on the playground, grew up playing against bigger guys, you know, tougher opponents. And I think just being able to relate to these young guys, because most of these guys come from where I come from, and I can really just teach them from a point where I've been there. I've been where you're trying to go. I've been down. I've been up. I understand all the pains and struggles you're going to go through. And I think for me, that's the most important thing, being able to relate to these young guys.
Moving away from all the great characteristics and traits that you embodied as a player that can help you as a coach, what are some of the things you've learned along the way, be it as an assistant, as a player development coach, now soon to be a head coach? What are those things that maybe didn't come naturally to you as a player that you're now learning and recognizing are important?
Being a player development coach, I think one of the things that helped me the most was I think you have to be passionate. You know, you have to get out there and be active with the players. I think they really feed into it, not just be a guy who just, okay, you do this, you do that. Get out there, get involved with them, be active with them. I think they really appreciate that. From a coaching standpoint, it's so much you learn, it's so much you want to take, it's so much you want to keep, so much you want to just throw away. But the X's and O's parts is pretty good. I learned a lot from some of the coaches I've been with. Popovich taught me a lot about communication. It was huge the way he communicated with the team. Nelly, I would take from him not to be afraid of doing what you want to do. You know, don't be afraid to fail, whether it's 5 guards on the court or whatever it may be. You know, go ahead and try it because you never know what's going to happen.
Sure. And you're going to get a chance here to work with our affiliate club as a coach during the NBA Las Vegas Summer League, starting here in about a week. What is it that league or that time period provides to young players, young coaches, young executives, kind of everybody involved? For
the players, you know, they get a chance to expose themselves to every team in the NBA. You know, a lot of teams from overseas, you know, scouts, whatever it may be, they have a chance to really put themselves on a great display panel to where everybody can see them. So it's not just about the team that they're playing with. It's way bigger than that. They have a chance to show themselves to a lot of teams, you know, throughout the world. And hopefully they do well. You know, for coaches, you know, the Summer League is normally for younger coaches, you know, up-and-coming coaches, gives them a chance to, you know, be a leader, you know, be a general out there. Call some X and O's plays, you know, during timeouts, ATO plays, and just get the experience, you know. So I think it works out for everybody.
When you're out there, how much of what is being called by Coach Canales, and obviously that's coming down from Coach Carlisle, but of all that's happening surrounding that Mavericks Summer League team, what do you expect to take from that team to bring here to Frisco? And what style of play do you look to embody here with your team next season?
Well, the style of play will definitely be Coach Carlisle's. You know, I think it's a great thing that, you know, the Mavs this year, they really want the Legends to pattern themselves after the Mavericks, which is a great thing because a lot of those players that'll be on the Legends teams will have a chance to get called up by the Mavericks. And if they're familiar with what we're doing, it's going to help them, go right into the transition of the Mavericks scheme of things. So I think that's great.
And so I want to lighten things up a little bit here. You're going to be teaching the players X's and O's. As you said, you can relate, right? Being a second-round pick who became an NBA All-Star, who was traded quite a few times throughout his career, multiple positions as a coach, you can relate to these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Can you relate to perhaps adjusting a player's free throw approach? Maybe similar to yours, standing a good foot and a half off that line? Or
Well, I mean, to me, we had Justin Jackson last year.
Right.
And all of his shots at the free throw line were short. And Justin Jackson, people don't look at him as being a three-point shooter, but he actually can shoot the ball from the three-point line. And when I noticed that he was just more aiming his shot, he was so close to the line, I just told him to move back. And once he moved back, it just became a natural shot. And his percentage went up a little bit. It didn't go up great. I just think he needed more practice with it. But if there's, a couple little things I can change, and if it has to be moving a player back because they always shoot the ball a little too long or whatever, or short, that's what I'm going to do.
did a coach kind of tell you that exact same thing at one point in your career? Was that something you figured out naturally? Where did that approach to the free throw line come from?
Well, for me, I wasn't a great mid-range shooter. I was a better three-point shooter, and when I was in Denver, I just kept hitting the back of the rim on my misses. So I just decided to move back a little bit. Just felt a little bit more comfortable.
Definitely a unique approach there, Coach Quick. I want to move in and play a little word association game with you. This is how we'll kind of wrap things up here on Beyond the Bounce. You've had, like I said, a very storied career with a lot of different individuals that played a part in that. So I'm going to name the individual, and if you can, give me one word or a small phrase to describe that person from your perspective. I want to kick things off with the legendary coach Del Harris.
Talker.
Fair enough.
Talker.
Dirk Nowitzki.
2 words: surprisingly unbelievable. Surprisingly unbelievable. Knew he would be good, didn't think he would be this great.
Fair. Bob Huggins.
Fierce.
Your coach in college.
Fierce. One of the fiercest competitors I've ever been around.
Kobe Bryant.
2 words: work ethic. Everything that Kobe has done, he's worked for it, and I've seen it firsthand. I've had chances to be on the other end of a lot of losing games and practices. The kid, he worked from day one till now. So, work ethic.
Our head coach last year, man, you worked under Eddie Nahara.
Nahara. I was thinking about Eddie, and for me, it's like I got to put him like a legend, because where he's come from to make it to the NBA, to make a name for himself, put his country on his back. I look at him as a legend.
I chose to separate Kobe from this man for a reason, with one guy in between. We all have our own opinions of how that went down. You got to live it somewhat. Shaq.
Dominant. Dominant. The most dominant big man, I think, in the history of the NBA, Shaq.
Don Nelly Nelson.
Creative. He wasn't afraid to try new things and just go out there and let it go. Just roll the dice. Very creative.
Greg Popovich.
Genius. The way he talked to his team, the way he can just get those guys to play together as a team is just so hard to do in professional basketball. So he's a genius at being able to do that.
Your golfing buddy, Spud Webb.
Dunker. Dunker, good friend, great golfer, always takes my money. But Spud's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's still very competitive on the golf course, just as he was as a basketball player. So I would call Spud the dunker.
Last man up, and perhaps the biggest lightning rod on the list, Mark Cuban.
Oh, rich. No, but I love Mark because, and I made a tweet early in the year about one of the calls that were made in the playoffs, and I think it was the Paul Pierce shot against Atlanta. And if it wasn't for Mark, maybe that call will never get reviewed. He really, pressed that button and got under David Stern's skin a bunch of times. But at the end of the day, what he did, he really helped the game of basketball by, allowing officials to go make the right call. Whether, we all know it's a split-second decision. It could be right, it could be wrong. But as long as they can go look at that monitor and get that call right, I really appreciate him for that, because I was arguing for that for a long time.
Well, hopefully we can see that same process take place here at the D-League level. Just continue to evolve, continue to make the game better.
Right.
To wrap things up, what are you looking forward to the most this upcoming season? Your first as a head coach and the head coach of the Texas Legends.
What I'm looking for the most, I want to win, man. I've never really won a championship. I've been to a lot of championship games, whether it's high school, whether it's college or whatever, and been to a lot of them. I haven't really won one, so just want to win a championship, and that's what I'm most excited about. I'm excited about trying to help some of these young guys reach their goals and dreams and get to the NBA. If I can help at that, I'm going to do that, and just trying to put a good team together. I want to see guys go out there and execute the way the coaching staff is want them to execute, and play hard and play together. That's what I'm looking for the most.
Well, Coach Quick, it's great to have you on board with the Legends. I look forward to working alongside you. And like you, I can't wait to win.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you joining Beyond the Bounce here today. Beyond the Bounce is presented by ZTE, a proud partner of your Texas Legends. ZTE makes a lot of our season possible, especially on the basketball side, by providing us with some of the newest technology that's out there. Last year, we featured the S Pro. It was a projector we used each and every game day while we were on the road. This season, we look forward to the S Pro 2. The interface is tremendous, and you'll see the pictures clear as day. We'll utilize it not just on the road, but we look forward to using it in our home locker room as well. Thank you to ZTE.
My name is Chris Jordan, and I'm the CEO of Verve Coffee Roasters. The ZTE S Pro 2 smart projector from AT&T helps me with just about everything I do. It's a really small, compact projector that gives me access to the Google Play Store and all of my favorite apps. It's a great touch screen on top. It's really easy to navigate, just like an Android phone. It's so easy to pack up and take with you.
Presenting the only Android-powered smart projector, now available through AT&T.
Welcome back to BTB, presented by ZTE. Coach Nick Van Exel joining us here, and this is the segment of the show we like to call Small Ball. So Coach Quick, it's pretty simple, little tabletop basketball here. You try to make as many shots as you can. In 24 seconds, we'll throw the shot clock up behind you. And currently, we have a tie for first place between Coach Del Harris and Delonte West. Now, I saw you practice in between the break here, and I have a feeling you might be challenging for that top spot. So
I plan on taking them out.
Now, just keep in mind, you're not allowed to back a foot off this line. That one's locked in place.
All right.
All right, Coach Quick, 24 seconds up on the clock, please. And we'll start when you take your first shot. There it is, 0-1. One for three, Coach. And you got to get your own rebound here. You got
making it tough.
15 seconds left, Coach.
Making me work. Yeah,
Two. Got 8 seconds to play. You can tie it up right here.
I gotta tie it at least. I got it.
5, 4, 3,
Oh.
2. Coach Quick for the last shot. 1. Tied. We've got a 3-way tie in first place with 3 total makes.
Oh,
Well, Coach,
man.
what we like to do at the end of this, I got to give you a technical foul. That's not a bad one. I know you're used to a few in your career. But the technical foul is actually technical, meaning technology. And we're going to take a quick little selfie here. Post your score online. There we go.
Sweet.
We'll be back on Beyond the Bounce after a quick break here to wrap up the show. And again, Coach Nick Van Exel in the building with us today. Hope you enjoy getting to know head coach Nick Van Exel a bit more here on BTB. In our next podcast, this was a tough one and an entertaining one. Delonte West sits down and dives into all different subject matter. All that and more on the next episode of Beyond the Bounce.